Beautiful. There it is. Perfect. Holy moly. What has happened to budget builders, and welcome back to the 74 Power Wagon rescue. From the middle of the woods, we rescued this thing. We got it running for the first time in at least 41 years. We got it trailing, we took it out and had a ton of fun in the snow with the kids, realizing that that automatic transmission was completely worn out. So we pulled it and we did a full 4-speed swap in this thing, which makes it so much more fun, and got it out on the road, realizing the engine made no power, even though it ran pretty good. We pulled it out with hopes to do a budget refresh, and it was just completely clapped out. So we found a local, inexpensive swap, cleaned it up, refreshed it, got it in there, and this thing is just about ready to go. With the exception of a fuel tank and exhaust, this thing is completely obnoxious. Now, these 74s are really tough to find as far as fuel tanks go. This one was completely rotted out, and we've done some looking. When you can find them, they're extremely expensive, and I'm thinking we're gonna do away with the in-cab tank. So in today's episode, we're gonna pull this rear bed, we're gonna clean up the rear suspension area, we're gonna do a custom rear mounted fuel tank, and I'm gonna show you how we're gonna do that on a budget. And then we're gonna do a full custom exhaust on this thing. We're gonna take it out, we're gonna have some fun with it. It took a good bit of time. We got that crazy rear bumper removed off of this thing. It was welded onto the frame rails, up underneath, and was just a mess as far as everything going on. But we wanted to get it out of there because we did get a cool old factory original bumper that we're gonna put on this thing once we get everything done back here. But to begin with, I don't think it'll take too much. We've got some wires and a few bolts, and we should be able to just yank this bed out of here so we can start working underneath. Give it to him. I did not expect that. Oh, awesome. Awesome, they are. Pretty safe to assume that we might have some leaf spring issues. There's one coil on this side. Moving into cleaning this rear area, I want to address the frame. I want to clean it all up. I want to wire brush it, and we're going to chassis coat this thing. I want to kind of protect and preserve what's here. We're going to also clean the rear of the cab, and I know there's a few rust spots we need to address, but right now we're focusing on the drivability and everything on this. But I want to treat that so it doesn't get any worse. We're working on preserving this thing, getting it going, and then down the road we'll address a few things here and there, kind of getting everything dialed in. First thing, let's get all of this wiring pulled out of the way. So it's out of the way and we're not having to worry about it. Get all these clips out of here and then go to town with the wire brush. What's nice is just how clean the frame, actually is on this thing. I mean, there's no rot, it's just surface rust. Bit of mud. Time to get the shocks pulled and out of the way, because we're gonna throw a new set on here anyways. Even though they work pretty good. I know this thing rides like horse and buggy, but no doubt it's coming together now. You guys are gonna think we're crazy, but you might have noticed when we were cleaning this, we Scotch Brighted all of it. And that's because we're gonna give it the same rust fix treatment as we did the engine bay. Like the engine bay, it's gonna treat and take care of all our surface rust, our rot, kind of keep it, preserve it, keep it from rotting anymore. But it's gonna clear over that paint and really enhance it. I think it'll be pretty sharp, at least for now, to keep the truck preserved for many years down the road. You can consider doing more with it later on. And what's kind of neat is you'll notice we'll have to recoat over the surface rust a couple times, and it has a chemical, you can actually smell it. That's why I'm doing it out here outside. It's because we have some wind blow today, but you'll actually hear and smell the chemical reaction. And as it converts and treats that rust, it'll turn it from a brown to a black. And once it turns black, you know it's completely taken care of. Man, that original paint is so pretty. little bit of time to let everything dry. We'll probably let it dry overnight before we start getting in there and coating the chassis. While we're waiting on that, probably a good time to get our tank set up. This is what we picked up. This is a 16-gallon 65 to 68 Ford Mustang gas tank. What's cool is the tank comes with a new sending unit, hardware, filler neck, and everything for $160 out the door. That is as cheap as it gets, and why it's such a popular swap in so many different vehicles, because they're just so readily available and inexpensive. Mounting looks like it's going to be fairly simple. This piece of angle is from one of the campers we tore apart. We keep just about everything, and it comes in handy sometimes on stuff like this. There. That's actually pretty cool. Most of the underneath of the bed is actually fairly clean, but I do want to get under here, kind of treat it, take care of it with some undercoating anyways to prevent any further issues. Now to get this thing coated, this is actually our first time attempting to use Pour 15. Normally we use a Duplicolor or Sweet Patina, but this is what they had on hand, so we grabbed it. But this does apply just the same way. We'll do a light coat using a paintbrush. The stuff self-levels. We'll let it cure for about 2 hours. It's about 60, 65 degrees out here right now, and then we'll do a second coat. It should be pretty good. Dude, that stuff lays on like, look at that. That's really nice. This is gonna look great.
Man, you already got me a brush too.
Yes, sir. You know it. You gonna get over here and do this with me.
Yeah, we're gonna paint a tire black too.
Yeah. Holy smokes. What a difference. I was a little concerned about gloss versus the normal semi-gloss that we use, but it actually looks really good. And eventually, once we continue down the frame and get the entire frame in this, I think it's gonna look really, really good. I think now that it's good and cured, we can start putting this thing back together. And the first thing that I want to reinstall is shocks. What's funny is this truck calls for a 20-inch shock, and it had 25s on it. It looks factory. Everyone asked what kind of lift it has. I didn't think it had a lift, but apparently it does because it sits taller than a lot of these seem to stock. And it called for a 25-inch shock. These were the cheapest ones we could get that were decent. And I think this is gonna go with the truck so well. Just a cool, old school set of skyjackers. These things entirely together. So there's your little end thingies. Your boot, your zip tie, shock, and sticker. You just want to make sure we use a grease that is appropriate for poly. Push our top bushing in, like so. We can slide our boot into place. Now these tops don't stay on like the old ones used to, so I put a zip tie up top here as well. On the bottom, bushing goes on first. That's what I'm talking about. Talk about old school. Love the fact that this thing has a drain, so if we're out trailing or something or whatever might happen, bad fuel or water, we can just drain it out, put fresh in there. That's a really nice addition. If I'm being honest, that was easier than I expected it to be, and it actually looks pretty nice. And here is our replacement bumper. That is definitely gonna look a little bit better than what was on there. Chrome's pretty decent, and I think it'll tie along with the truck really well. And this right here is where the fuel neck is gonna come through, so we'll have to cut out a hole. It'll have a little drop back plate. We're gonna try to figure that out right now, where we can get a filler in there. And then we've got a GMA body. This was like 10 bucks, 15 bucks maybe on Amazon. So we'll be able to mount that there, have our license plate, and then that can drop down and give us access to our filler. our calculations were incorrect. The concept was cool. Okay. Ow. Put this up in here. It's not much, but it has drop. And this is the very top of the tank, and it has drop to here. Theoretically, it should work just fine like that. It's not as much as I'd like for it to have, but I do think that's gonna work okay. What's nice with this more modern, you know, we've got more modern filler. We've got our vent, which I'll run up into the bed, so we have plenty of venting. And then it also has an anti-splash. So even if you're like hot rodding this thing, which this truck probably won't hot rod, and a little bit of fuel sloshes back, it's not gonna just make a big, huge mess or anything. We are waiting for a fuel filler hose to come in. While we're stuck, we dragged out all of our leftover exhaust we had laying around. And we're gonna use this to make up an exhaust real quick. This crazy angle here is gonna get a little difficult. I think we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, front.
How's that?
Yep.
Good?
Pretty good.
That was hot on my belly. Singe. All right.
Smell like pork rinds. Needs a twist up in the middle. Okay, that was too much. Yeah, that's good.
Now this will no doubt not be perfect because I'm not a professional welder, but I think it'll come out pretty good and it'll be stout and leak free. Well, there are our two main sticks. Now, I was definitely concerned with how those headers come down in the room we had, but I feel like given what we were working with, I think we did okay. Let's get these bolted back in and see how this thing sounds. want to check and see if we have any leaks. Pretty happy with how the weld came out, but I'm gonna soak it all down. Let's put some pressure on this tank. Not a single leak. Tank is finally buttoned up, and a little bit of convincing to make things work. Hacking off that original filler and putting a nice angle one here. This will work out just right for the setup we need to get the fuel to flow in that tank. Pretty happy with how everything turned out. Welded in nice, sealed really good, and we just used a scrap piece of exhaust that we had from just what we were doing, and so that works out really nice. No cost. Obviously, you may want to consider something a little different if it's not a brand new tank that's had gas in it before, but being this was a brand new tank, no problems whatsoever, and that should get us just how we need it to be. For fuel line from the tank to the fuel pump, we've got this stainless 5/16 tube that we actually had from doing the 911. Dad reminded me that this stuff is a monster. Hopefully we can get it straightened out. I think it'll be good enough to be nice in this truck, and plus it's been sitting on the shelf for what, 4 years now. It'll be good to use it. Not going to be needing that anymore.
Got a full of fluid.
And for the sending unit, all we've got to do is extend this wire right here, because they had one in place already for a rear tank to be mounted. We'll probably have to de-pin and apply it to the gauge. That should work out nicely. Gonna attempt our first fuel up with our own fuel system. Straight in the tank. Yes. That's cool. Get this vented up into the tail light. Nice. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that'll work. No problem.
It's taking it fast. So.
Ready to see if it works? Yep. One other thing I wanted to mention, I know a lot of times on your old cars when you're slap full of gas, with this style fill, sometimes they'll splash out. We made sure this fuel cap is non-vented. All of our venting is in this hose, and it's a big 5/8. And you'll see once we get the bed back on how we're going to run it. So I don't think we're going to have any issues with fuel splashing out with a full tank in there, if we could ever afford to actually put a full tank of gas in this thing. I mean, we are budget builds, right? Is your back feeling up too? It ain't better than there you go. Now to figure out how we want to do our side exit. Let's try to go out the side with it. I think like right there is pretty good. Now for our hanger, you can see I bent it around, and what's pretty cool is we don't have to drill holes in the frame. We'll just bolt it right in place of a pre-existing hole. Dude, that came out better than I expected it to. That's pretty cool. What do you think, Dad?
Good.
Doesn't sound good though. Well, this definitely gets a little more difficult to get to the bolts, but I think we'll get it. Our last bit here for the fuel system is this vent. I'm gonna pull this tail light. And that's because we're gonna run it up in here. And the only thing we are gonna have to do is I'll have to get a marine style 5/8 vent cap just so mud daubers don't pack up in there. But this will get up here, it'll be vented, and then that fuel system is completely sealed free if we decided to go sink this thing. The only way to get water in the gas would be to get this underwater. And if we're that deep, then we're probably in trouble. It's a lot quieter than wide open headers. Sounds pretty good, don't it?
I don't see fire, that's good.
Hey, this thing's starting to come back to life. The alternator just started charging, and now the e-brake light is working. Dude, oh, the alternator quit charging. Oh, it's charging. And the brake light quit working. It was working. Let's let this thing warm up a little bit. See if it drives a bit better. Oh, this thing's so quiet and so smooth. What a happy engine. I'm glad we did that. You can tell it's got headers. Even though it is just basically a factory engine, no cam or anything. It's tinny, but it sounds pretty good. Wakes up. Let's get this thing out on the road. Dude, I'm excited. We really hadn't driven this thing since we've manual. Yeah, we have. We hadn't actually got to drive it. Already maybe less horse and buggy. Sounds good. Oh my goodness, that is so much better. It is a 391 gear truck. We just hot rodded all the way up to 20. I could get used to this. Cool truck. Get on it a little bit. It rides a lot better though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's running really good. You gotta drive this thing. Hey, that's the nice thing about a bench, huh? I don't know why I like this thing so much, and maybe I shouldn't, but I do. How about you?
Try that again.
You like it? It's a pretty cool old truck. Yep, I think we got Dad's approval. It's still horse and buggy. There is no doubt it sounds like an old pickup truck, but it's pretty cool. Driving's fun and all. We're almost out of light, and we gotta hit a trail. Is that Granny or is that Granny? Hey, don't leave me!
Yeah, that's very Granny.
I love this. We hadn't gone out on trail in a minute. And this is the whole reason we rescued this truck, was to do stuff like this. I love the gear ratio of this thing. I mean, it will only be an around town driver. I can tell you that right now. But it's perfect for this right here. And I have an idea in my head for this truck that I think we'll show you in the next episode. That's why you don't want to paint stuff like this.
Oh, you're gonna scratch it.
What a truck like this is for. We might have to clean some trails up. I don't know about y'all, but that is what it is all about. Rescuing, rebuilding, and enjoying. And we're doing exactly what this truck was made for. Somebody many decades ago enjoyed this truck just the same way. Maybe a little more than we're going to, and that's why it was worn out and parked. But we got it rescued. We've got this thing running, driving, trailing, going back down the road again with now its own fuel system, the custom exhaust, which I think is pretty neat on this thing. It fits this truck well. It's tucked up in there and it's nice and tight, so we can go out and enjoy it and not rip it out from underneath this truck, and enjoy is just what we're going to do. Now, moving forward with this thing, I've been thinking about it, and I know we just pretty much finished up a GMC motorhome rebuild, but this is a short wheelbase, fun little truck that's meant for around town driving and trailing, and there's a few trails around here. How neat would it be to find a vintage slide-in camper or old school camper shell camper, put it on the back of this thing, do a quick rebuild, not a big long crazy one like we did before, but a good fun weekend refresh rebuild, get out, enjoy, and camp in this thing. You want to continue to see this cool old 4x4 Power Wagon rescued, be sure to hit the subscribe button, notification bell to keep up with our future uploads. And if you have been a part of the channel, we really do appreciate it so much. We get to rescue this old forgotten stuff because of each and every one of you. Peace out, and catch you all on the flip side. Dang, the e-brake is good. A little bit of a hill. No problem.